Good morning, bedheads. Click. Look how amazing this mug is. Thank you to whomever sent this to me. I don't know that I got a little slip with it. I might have to check. I'm sorry that I didn't look before it might be on my counter, but I'm not sure I did. Thank you for sending this. Look at this, you guys. Smile, you're having coffee with Karen. So cute. It was so sweet. Thank you so much. It's on both sides. I love it. I love it. It's like perfect size too. So, how is everybody doing today? It's a little later for coffee for me, but I probably slept until 9, and here I am getting ready for the day. So we are. I'm going to talk about two things. One, I wanted to talk about Moldavite a little bit, and thank another gift I received. You guys are just too generous. So nice. Um, and then we're gonna unpack some of the shenanigans. So if listening to stuff about, well, I'm not going into details, not into the, I'm going to go into a little bit of the weeds, just to talk about like my opinion about the shenanigans going on with we're going to be calling him F45 for now on. So for felon 45, I'm going to settle on that because he ain't my president. He not my president. So F45. So yeah, I'm going to try to keep it just some perspectives. Okay. So not getting into the weeds too much, but just some perspectives. So, but before we get started, so I think I'm going to be brave enough to bring my Moldavite up. If you've been around the channel, if you're new here, hi, I'm Karen with Ask the Spirit Guides. There's a Start Here playlist on the channel. It might be helpful for you to understand what this channel is all about, if that's helpful for you. So, I did buy some Moldavite a couple weeks ago, and it's been sitting down in my storage room because I've been, let's just say, reluctant to bring it upstairs because I heard stories about it. Now, Moldavite is a piece of glass, actually. I've explained this a couple times, but I'll just mention it again really quick. And actually, before I get started, the reason I decided it was time to bring it up is because Mickey, thank you, Mickey, who goes by Michael on our channel. I see one Michael Ann Murphy goes by Mickey. Thank you so much. I didn't see the card inside because I hadn't opened the box yet. So now I know it came from you. You're so sweet. So Mickey sent me this crystal book and card deck. Look at this thing. Isn't that cool? So, but it came with this awesome booklet, and I was reading it last night. And then the cards, I haven't opened the cards yet. So it comes like this. And you guys, we are actually going to have a storefront in Amazon of like all my favorite things in there because people ask, just because people ask. This way, if you're looking for the dowsing rods, or if you're looking for like the angel cards I like, or my bullet journal, we'll have the link. We're going to stop putting all those links and very soon just have one link to that store. So anyways, these are the cards. So I haven't opened them yet, but this book is amazing. And the fact that it had Moldavite in it, I thought, okay, that's a sign. It's a sign for me to go finally bring it up. It's in a little case, and I think I will probably bring it up and just have it at my door front or something. I'm just not going to touch it yet. Again, when you do this kind of work, if you're doing work with crystals, you're doing clearings that I do, there's clearings with the SGs, the spirit guides on the public channel. They're also in the spirit circle. When you're doing meditation, it is no different than when you change your diet. Low and slow is better. It's just better because your body needs time to adjust to things, right? The same thing when you're trying to open up your intuitive senses so that you could use the dowsing rod so your spirit guides can start communicating with you, okay? Or you can start, if you wanted to start hearing them or seeing them, you want to do this low and slow. I don't know why low is in there, but it just kind of, because it rhymes. So, anything slow, if you start taking herbs, like little tinctures and stuff, low and slow, because you got to give your body time to adjust. Okay. It's the same thing with this stuff. And apparently Moldavite, so this is how it's spelled, and it's actually a glass. Okay. It just fascinates the heck out of me. So Moldavite, there was basically 15 million years ago, a meteor. It has extraterrestrial connections. That's why it's so powerful, because it has extraterrestrial. So the energy in this piece of glass has that energy in there, that extraterrestrial energy. So apparently 15 million years ago, this meteor crashed on Earth in the Bohemian Plateau, where pieces are scattered throughout the area. Okay. The shapes of Moldavite found back up its molten origins. Most are round to very flat, drop-like, and disc shapes, spheres, ovals, and spirals. So it basically, what happened is the meteor came down, this stuff splashed up, and I don't know, whatever was going on it's a very scientific explanation. Whatever was going on in the atmosphere, it turned it to glass, like boom, it just turned to glass, and then it scattered. And it scattered out into the Czech Republic, because my understanding is the meteor actually landed in Germany, but it says the Bohemian Plateau, so maybe back then, obviously it wasn't called Germany 15 million years ago. All right. So once as prized as emerald, its usage goes back to the Neolithic people of Eastern Europe in 25,000 BCE. It's incredible. So, a powerful addition to any meditation session, Moldavite is an energy amplifier that opens up all the chakras, enhancing spiritual growth. Called a stone of connectivity, connecting universal and earthly energies. It increases connection to intuition, telepathy, and guidance from spiritual realms. But I also heard that it can really change your life. So again, low and slow. So the fact that this was in this book, and it is not in any of my other crystal books, so thank you, Mickey. It is not in any of them. I thought, okay, that's a sign. I don't know why, I just happened to look and see this big green page and I just saw it. So I thought, okay, that's a sign to finally bring it up. I think it's been downstairs for a couple of weeks. So it is pretty expensive. They had it's tiny like this. I guess it's more expensive now because it went a little viral on, people on social media were talking about it a couple of years ago. So it kind of went viral. But I think it was like $45 for like this little tiny piece. It was 45 they had other pieces like 65. It just depended. So I don't remember which one I bought, but okay. So I will keep you updated. Apparently, like when you touch it, you can feel like warm. So I don't know. Low and slow. All right. So let's talk about some of the shenanigans. How are you guys feeling about everything? How are you feeling about everything? I'll tell you this. This is actually the first time it's been so obvious against such a large group of people, the entire United States. It is obviously psychological warfare, what's going on. That's my opinion. It's just what I've observed. All this like boom, 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 right, is really kind of just trying to throw us off. Okay. I mean, it's just really kind of interesting, like the whole freezing of the funds, and then every state, every governor came out to be like, what the, and so they, of course, had to spend all their energy on that. And when they're doing that, guess what they're not doing, right? They're not paying attention to other things. So if we can keep in mind that this is an incredibly low vibration approach, I mean, like the lowest vibration approach, they are literally purposefully have a design of psychological warfare. It's like, again, it's almost enough where you can just actually see it and just be like, are you kidding me? And the challenge is that there's how many people online, because we're talking about it, can see it. Because the more I hear other people talk about stuff and whatever, because I'm paying attention to that. But if there are people who are just watching CNN, who are just watching Fox, who, and there are, I mean, people don't know. So many of my friends are not on social media because they don't want to be. And I don't blame them. I wasn't on it. I wasn't on YouTube until, like, listening to people on YouTube until this year, until 2024. So, and excuse me, I feel way more educated listening to independent media and I'm discerning still. You got to be discerning what you're listening to and check out facts, So, and we got to just be careful. It's that balance between, we continue to talk about this, the balance between staying aware but not getting wrapped up into the weeds. And that's what I think is the psychological warfare. A part of this is that they want us to get so exhausted by the boom, 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 more, right? They want us to get so exhausted by that we just give up, like, oh, well, I can't protest that. They come out every hour. How are we supposed to protest, or whatever, you know what I mean? So I think what we have to do is watch, just keep watching, just stay aware without trying, try to stay as center as possible. Stay aware of the big picture. Okay. So the big picture here is there's psychological warfare going on. Okay. So we're not going to let the day-to-day stuff exhaust us. All right. We're going to let it settle for a little bit. And then take care of ourselves, live your life, go to the movies, go to the gym, cook some good meals, watch a basketball game, whatever you do, whatever you do for fun, go to work, try not to focus on it, but stay aware. So we're staying aware so that when all the bombarding stuff is done, because it's ridiculous, all the bombarding stuff, that we can actually see then what it is that they're really trying to do. Okay. Because if we get caught up in all this psychological warfare and the bombarding, we're not going to be able to see the big picture. It's seeing what is it? See the forest through the trees or whatever. Yeah, something like that. So, yeah, so that's just kind of my thoughts on, because we have to be able to see what it is that they're really trying to do. Because all these, again, the stuff in the last 2 weeks is all a distraction. Again, my opinion, but I am starting to piece things together, listening to other people as well. It's all a distraction. Because none of these things that they're doing right now are sticking. So they're trying to get all the courts all the courts now have all this stuff to have to do because of everything that they're doing, all the shenanigans, right? So they're trying to tie up everybody's energy with these shenanigan plays. This is my take on it. Okay. So the question is, what are they really doing? What are they doing behind the scenes? That's the question. So besides trying to exhaust us, and they're exhausting our courts, they're exhausting our left-wing politicians, so hopefully they're aware of that too. I'm thinking they probably are. And then the question is, once all this kind of what's going on behind the scenes? That's the question. And I don't have that answer yet. I'm watching, I'm just paying attention, but I'm not letting the shenanigans. That's exactly what this is. All these executive orders and stuff. It's all shenanigans. So that's why I like the freezing of the funds. And then he comes back. Oh, no, we won't freeze the funds. I mean, if any logical adult knows that you can't just freeze funds, and it would, of every state, I mean, they had every intention of coming back the next day saying they're not going to freeze the funds. Because they knew they couldn't do that. They knew they couldn't do that. So that's shenanigans. That is shenanigans. It's incredible, isn't it? We're watching really dark, low vibration energy have a hissy fit right now. Because they know that if they don't do this, it's just weird. It's just really bizarre, isn't it? So that's where we're going to, keep taking care of ourselves, not get too caught up, see it for what it is, pace ourselves. Okay. When you start to feel overwhelmed, you take a step back for a day or two, then pop your head back in and just say, okay, what's going on? What's going on now? And then after that, you might start feeling overwhelmed again. Then just, okay, back away. But we need to pay attention to the big picture. All right. And this is the kind of conversation I will have without getting into the weeds about stuff still on this channel, because it's important for me to have it. And I think it's important for maybe like half of the people on my channel. The other half are like, nope, I need to stay right here, which is beautiful. Stay right there. Do what you need to do. Okay. And I'll be clear in the subject lines when I'm talking about this so that people can choose to not participate in this conversation. But there were a few things that I think are really kind of interesting. There's two there's 3 points like that are a little bit in the weeds. First of all, the press secretary. I just happened to see her on YouTube for a second. I thought, well, let me listen to see what shenanigans. Let me just see, hey, we gotta at least listen to some of this stuff to see, is it like legit, or is she like a legit person, or is she going to be feeding us a bunch of crap? You know what I mean? And the later is true. The latter part of that sentence was true, in my opinion. First of all, she's wearing a cross, which I think is totally inappropriate, but it tells you something, right? She was wearing a cross, very big one. Pretty obvious on a black, I think she had a dark top. It was just very obvious. Okay. Totally inappropriate. Then somebody asked about the chicken price or the egg prices, because egg prices have gone up since. Well, this is what happens when you campaign on something that you really don't have any control over, right? Because there's things going on in the world like chicken that hibernate a little bit in the winter, like they're not as productive. I mean, and so anyway, so she goes on to say, well, Biden unalived a million whatever chickens. Well, if they didn't unalive them, as if they just decided to unalive a million chickens. Like, she didn't say why they did. And she blamed it, so she's blaming the high prices on them. She didn't say anything about the bee flu, that's why they unalived them. So this is where is really interesting, and we have to pay attention. The journalists in the room, if they were real journalists, they would, she didn't allow them to ask any more questions after that. But if they were real journalists, they would go back to wherever they're reporting, and they would call her out on that. They would say, well, the reason that Biden had to unalive a million chickens is because of this. So if we don't see those stories, then we know that, so if CNN's not talking about those stories, then we know what the general public is not getting, right? So that's just an example. And the other piece of information I found very fascinating, I haven't confirmed this is true, but this came from Josh Johnson, who's a comedian, and he talks about stuff going on in the world. So I'm going to trust that he fact checked this because this came from his show. But you want to know they spent so for 80 immigrants that they tried to send over to Mexico, and I think the Mexican one had to come back, but I know that Colombia, I know they worked out a deal with Colombia, but I think I don't remember. I didn't hear a follow up on the Mexico one, but do you know it costs $700,000 to send 80 immigrants over? 700,000. That is almost 100,000 per, right? Yeah, something like that. Yeah, a little less, 90 maybe. Yeah, 700,000. So the shenanigans, total shenanigans. This is how they're spending our money. And the other question I have is like, I've brought this up before. I know some people mentioned it. I don't know. Like, I'm kind of curious if like, I don't know, 10 million people in the United States didn't pay their federal taxes this year. You know, didn't pay Trump his salary. What would happen? Couldn't go after 10 million of us, could they? Wouldn't that be an interesting I'll pay my state taxes. I'll pay my state taxes, no problem. But wouldn't that be interesting? So if the shenanigans continues, we do have control over that. I don't know what the outcome would be like for us, you know, financially if we got, you know, charged or whatever, but I don't know if there was a huge enough movement. So it's just something to think about. I haven't heard anybody else talking about stuff like that, but it's something to think about. And if you want to stay up to date on, and this is, you know, you got to watch out for karma and stuff like this, but I did just become aware on Blue Sky, there is there's an account called MAGA, MAGA, cult, CULT, Slayer. And so they're basically, I think they're, you know, trying to influence and get like into the mega cult, you know? And so, I don't know, it's kind of interesting. There's some interesting things going on there. It might be too in the weeds for a lot of us. And we want to be careful. In my bullet journal this year, my 2025 intentions, which came from my spirit guides, because I use oracle cards to draw them, was to stay neutral with FAFOs. So I'm still aware. I still don't mind seeing them from time to time, but staying neutral in the energy, not be like, ha ha, you know, because I want to be careful about that. Like be a neutral observer. So be a neutral observer came up in my cards this year. And this is one I actually added, because obviously I don't have a card that says stay neutral with FAFO. Can you imagine? That would be funny. Actually, I just got a blank deck. Thank you for everyone who's told me that those were available. I just got a blank deck. Oh, here it is. I kind of liked this design. I'll put this one in our little store too when we get it done. But maybe that would be a good one to stay neutral with FAFO. That might be a good one to put on. So I got to think about what I want to use, you know, what kind of messages I want to put on for myself. You know, you could almost do like one for every year. I like the back. I wish it looked a little bit more like it's cute. You could almost do one like a deck for yourself for 2025, like all your intentions, do a deck for yourself. And then when you're not following your intentions or like you're feeling off, you could say, okay, well, which, you know, you could roll your deck and be like, what things am I not doing right now that I've told myself I would do? And then see how that, you know, what messages you're getting from your guides. That might be interesting. So, you know, like if I were to add some right now, I might say pace myself, you know, stay aware, but pace myself. it's almost like I put choose when to react. We have to choose when to react because of the psychological warfare. So we can't react to everything, right? Which is what a lot of people here are saying, like, I don't even want to pay attention so that I don't react to everything. And I totally agree. So it's how much are we going to, you have to choose when you're going to react. And all of us are going to want to react on different things. All right. So because there are, what's important to me is going to be different than what's important to you. And but there will be a time, and we have to let this dust settle. And who knows? Trust me, I still have 99% faith, maybe it should be 100, that the shenanigans are going to end very soon anyways, because I still have faith. I still can't believe that the Dems weren't doing something behind the scenes for the last couple months with all the, all the issues that we had with the election. So, and outside of the United States, So, and even this thing, the salute, that nobody can actually mimic him because it's so inappropriate, but it was fine for him to do it on stage and everybody making excuses for him. But the salute thing, that to me, I might have said this before, but that was planned. That was planned so that everybody is in like total shock about it, right? They want to keep shocking us. And everybody's, so that we're exhausted. And it did feel exhausting. Can you believe it's only been a week and a half? I mean, it's like, I bet every day we're going to be like, oh, thank God it's Friday. Like literally, because of that bozo. So yeah, that's all I got to say. I think maybe once a week when I just feel like I've got to just tell you what I'm seeing. I probably won't focus. I'm not going to focus on this every day with Coffee with Karen, but let's just do a fun card real quick. I think when we have conversations like this, this is the one that was sitting next to me. So when we have conversations like this, we'll just end it with something very positive. Very positive. And I wanted to show Stephanie, look at what's on my mantle. How cute is that? And it totally matches my mantle. I mean, come on now. That's Lucy, somebody from our community. I posted in the community tab, you guys, so a picture of that. That's a painting. How amazing is that? And I put her Etsy shop on there because you just have to check out her artwork. It's incredible. It's just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay. I'm not sure I'll be able to do that for everybody, so be careful. I know people aren't sending me things to get endorsements, so if that starts to happen, then I probably would not be able to do that. So, but all this, I just got a package yesterday with like 5 things in it. It was so sweet. So, came from our P.O. box. So, all right. I close my aura to all but my higher self, the God consciousness, my guides and guardians, and ask Archangel Michael to please protect this channel so it's only of the light. Amen. Hey, you guys. They're just bouncing all over the place today. What message do you have for me? Hey, did you guys catch the Founding Fathers? Oh, that was fun. I'll post it right here if you haven't caught it. The Founding Fathers that I did last night. And if there's enough questions, maybe I'll have to see if my sister can pull them together today. I think she might have texted me. And maybe we'll do it tonight. I don't know. It depends on how quickly she can pull it together, but I can do the fight, and then we're going live on Sunday because I'm going to fix my internet situation and hopefully it's going to be nice and clear. So we're going to go live Sunday at 7 p.m. Central. Okay. In February, we're going to go live at 7 p.m. Central on Wednesdays and Sundays. Just for fun. It's just so much fun, but we're going to try to stick to an hour or so. Okay, enough blabbing. All right, can we get a card, you guys? I think one did fall and I ignored it. Oops, because I was chatting. All right, can we get a card, please? It's kind of a trick to make you sit here while I act like I tell you about her. I didn't mean to do that. All right. Okay, there's too many there. I'm going to trust the one that does come out this time rather than ask the SGs. I've been doing that a lot lately rather than trusting my own intuition. All right. They're probably waiting for that one to drop again. That dropped. I think it, okay. All right. Let's see. All right. Here's our little message for today. Enter one step forward, one step onward. Let me see the little foot? So this is a 12. I think 12, I don't know if the number 12 gets reduced. I still have to learn so much about numerology. But if it does, then it's a 3 card, which, 3 on this channel is amazing. So let's see. It says, you don't need to see the full path. Okay, let's see. You don't need to see the full path, just the next step. Yep, just the next step. And so the next step right now, compared to what we just talked about, is really one step is really just let's just let the dust settle here a little bit. Let's let the dust settle here, okay? Without overreacting to all the shenanigans. Let's let it settle a little bit before we decide how we can collectively, before we decide what the next step is. And then one step onward. I love that. Look at the little feet. This is the cutest deck ever. It's just so cute. There's some humor in this deck, which I really appreciate. I'm just gonna, because I want to, just for me, and then maybe there's a few people who are still listening here. Let's just pull one more. Let's pull one more. I might pull even 2 more. Nothing wrong with good messages. Leaving this conversation with some good messages and some reminders. So what else do you guys want to tell us today about what we were talking about? Thank you. Oh, this one actually did jump, you guys. It did jump earlier and I was like, oh, there's too many. That's funny. Let's see what this is all about. Oh, which is funny because I just used the word jump. 3, 2, 1, jump. It's a 1 card. What do you think about that? I might have to read a little bit about this one. What do we got going on here? We've got a city, a maze, a sign, a heart, kind of walking off of a cliff. All right, there's a triangle. What do you get out of that? Let's just see what inspiration we can draw from that. Okay, I'll read the other card too. How many times have you been just at the edge, but then turned around? Have you ever been in a situation similar to the one you are faced with now? No. No, we can pretty much say no. Perhaps it seems scary only because you think you don't have a net. Do you believe your wings will appear when you leap? Oh, that's cool. If only you knew then what you know now. You have so many unseen cheerleaders rooting for you. Oh, the countdown is on. 3, 2, 1, jump. Cosmic Catalyst. What am I standing on the precipice of? What will it take for me to finally jump? The Cosmic Checkbox. Place at least one immovable date on the calendar that will force you to move forward. Wow. Interesting. What this says to me, you guys, is that because I really believe that the things going on right now are really to help bring us closer to source. And and Christians would say the same thing, right? I mean, every religion probably says the same thing. The spiritual journey, folks that are on a spiritual journey are saying the same thing. It's really bringing us collectively. So rather than just individually, I think it's collectively bringing us here. Okay. And if we can keep that big picture, then it's just one step forward, and most of it is working on ourselves, right? And how we're going to deal with things. And the real ugly stuff is coming up, and I think that's why it's out from the collective. And that's why people are so like appalled, because so much ugliness is coming up. But this ugliness has been bubbling under the surface since we've become a nation. So it just has been there, and we need to clear it. We need to dissolve it as a collective. And it's coming out. We're seeing people, and that's what's interesting about the mega cult slayer, because they're showing the FAFO stuff, but the FAFO stuff is healthy. It's healthy because there's bigots who are bigots and have been bigots their entire lives, and now they're like, oh, I can do whatever I want. Okay, come out and we'll see how that works for you. Let's see how it works for you. And that's okay. We need to let it come out so we can dissolve it, so we can see, so those people can learn. They've been taught something their whole lives, and now they're going to see it differently. They're going to see it differently. So let's just see what the book says about this one. Enter, one step forward, one step onward. You're in a thick fog right now. You can see only a few feet ahead of you, and that's all you need. Instead of knowing each move, exactly which steps to take and in which order, realize that when you walk forward, the next step will be revealed to you. You can use that in your personal life, and it's absolutely for the collective right now. This is a journey of one step forward and one step onward. You are being asked to enter your perfect path awaiting you, without reservation and without hesitation. The Cosmic Catalyst, it's just a section in the book called Cosmic Catalyst right there. What is the next step I can take right now? And then what is the next step? So what's the one thing you can do right now, both personally and for the collective? Just one thing. And maybe it's just listening to this, getting a little perspective. Okay? And then what's the next thing? One thing at a time. The Cosmic Checkbox asks someone to be your accountability partner to ensure you make your next step forward without over planning and overthinking it. I love that. We can be accountability partners here for the collective. We can do that on this channel. And then maybe accountability partners individually. You guys can, find those in your life. Pretty cool. I mean, this is the card we drew first. You're in a thick fog right now. Yeah, we are. And remember, I asked them to give me a message based on what we had just talked about. So one step forward. 3, 2, 1, jump. Now I can't remember what it said. Let me just, because I want to make a connection here. Have you ever been in a situation similar to the one you are faced now? Perhaps it seems scary only because you think you don't have a net. And remember, they said, do you believe your wings will appear when you leap? Let's believe we have wings, you guys. And then if only you knew then what you know now, you have so many unseen cheerleaders rooting you on for us to jump. That's awesome. What a nice way to end this conversation. And I will do that. I'm going to start doing more readings with Coffee with Karen so that we can do, because people really like the SGs. And so I'm going to do more SGs at night and then more cards during Coffee with Karen. So just so I could get those into, because I love my cards. I love them all. And it leaves with a nice message at the end of the day. So, all right. Well, have an amazing day. And we'll see you tonight for whatever the SGs are going to be doing with us tonight. So, all right. Have a good one. Bye-bye.